Today I'm sharing with you my very first puppet build. I created a puppet of the Fizzgig from Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal. Now, this puppet started off with a pattern for a basic puppet head from Puppet Nerd. I'll include a link. And I took that pattern and created the head out of cushion foam. They do recommend using 1-inch cushion foam, but I didn't have any 1-inch cushion foam. I had 2-inch cushion foam. So I actually took my handy dandy electrical knife and sliced the cushion foam in half, lengthwise. It was kind of a pain, but I'm a problem solver and I don't like going to buy things, especially if I already have something that can be used. So I sliced it in half and I used the cushion foam to create the head from the pattern of Puppet Nerd. Now, once I had the basic structure of it, the next step was to create the opening of the mouth. Now, the mouth opening is made from the lid of a Sterlite box. An old Sterlite box was just kind of a hefty plastic that I cut out with scissors, and I cut it to the shape of the opening of the mouth. It is 2 separate pieces. There is actually a gap between the two right where they join, and so that the hand can stay on those 2 pieces, there is elastic that would surround the top of the hand to hold it to the mechanism. So when you put your hand in, you can feel where that elastic is on the top. There's no elastic on the bottom. Some people do recommend putting a thumb hole, but I like to be able to move my thumb around a little bit, so I didn't put one. Now, after I had Fizzgig's main head structure and I had his mouth, then it was a matter of putting on the fur. Now, this is just craft fur that I bought at Hobby Lobby, and I just honestly cut it into pieces and hot glued it onto it. I did not turn it inside out, sew it all together, made sure it fit nice and pretty, because I didn't have to worry about seams a whole lot. The fur hides any of the seams that are there. I don't even honestly remember where they are. Oh, there's a seam right here. You can't see it. So I just hot glued the fur to the form itself, to the head itself. After the fur was on, then I tucked the fur around the edge of the mouth, overlapped it a little bit, and then surfaced the inside of the mouth with black felt, just to clean up that edge between the fur and the puppet. Now, Fizzgig is pretty much a ball that has lots of teeth, and he screams. That's what the character does. I identify with Fizzgig quite a bit because he just screams. And what I did to make his teeth was use my technique for molding hot glue using air dry clay. So, sculpt a tooth out of air dry clay, let it set. Push it into air dry clay that's wet to create molds, several of them. While the air dry clay is still wet, fill it with hot glue and let the hot glue set. Once the hot glue sets, pop the teeth right out, painted with acrylic paints, and then hot glued to the inside of the mouth itself. A little inside row of teeth and the nice big outside row of teeth, so that Fizzgig can scream like he's supposed to. Ah! His eyes came next. Now again, I am a problem solver. I don't go out and buy eyes because I'm never going to find something that's exactly what I want it to be. So I decided to make the eyes. What I did was took my air dry clay, and then I took the end of a mascara bottle because that was the size circle that I wanted. I pushed the end of the mascara bottle into the air dry clay to create a little indentation, a little flat indentation. I took a piece of paper, colored the eye how I wanted it, set that inside of the hole that was in the air dry clay that I made, and then topped the paper with clear hot glue. Sure, it's not perfect. Sure, they could be glassier. Sure, I could probably have bought some somewhere. But you know what? These are pretty good. And I was able to use what I had laying around. I'm a big believer in art as a problem-solving skill. I don't like going by something specific to make things. I like to use what I have laying around. Ha! Ooh, I used some brown felt to hot glue it to the top of the eyes as a little eyelid. You can see those there. And then I did hot glue the eye to Fizzgig's hair. Next is his nose, his tongue, and his little dangly feet down here. Those are made with foam mo. I didn't buy it specifically for Fizzgig. I had it because I had used it for something else. So I sculpted the nose, I sculpted the tongue, I sculpted the feet out of foam mo. I let them set, I painted them, and then glued them to Fizzgig himself. He rests with his mouth open because the foam holds the mouth open. But he is very easy to make his mouth open and close. I like too that when you close his mouth, his fur hides his teeth. So it's a surprise when he opens them up. And he was a request of my daughter, who really loves the Dark Crystal and wanted her very own Fizzgig. But again, we're not people to just go out and buy something when we could very well have a lot of fun trying to make it. So that's how I made my very first puppet, a Fizzgig from the Dark Crystal. He's really fun to pet. He's kind of cubby. He's soft, and I constantly want to fix his fur. I don't know why, but he's a fun little puppet, and he was my very first one. Hope you liked it. Thank you very much for watching.